virtual people? Welcome to the 114th episode of VCR Redux. We take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2023. I'm your host, Pop Culture Punk, joined as always, or soon to be, I hope, by, oh, here he comes in now. The timing on this man, folks. Joined as always by my co-host, film professor Ian Klink is on the show.
How you doing, everybody?
And we have two radical guests on the show tonight. First up, she runs an audio and post-production facility and hosts the Spooky Picture Show podcast. Melanie Mullen is back on the show.
Hello.
And rounding out this righteous crew, coming to you
She's
all
so
the way from my old hometown of Queens, New York. Screenwriter Coyne is back on the show.
Hey!
Thank you so much for coming back on, guys. We are here today to save Ferris and attend a Cubs game on our day off while we declare ourselves the Sausage Kings of Chicago. That's right, folks. This world needs Ferris Bueller 2, Misjudgment Day, and we're here to give it to you. But before you tell me that life moves pretty fast, we got a dish on how Ferris Bueller came into our lives and what we love about him. And of course, that goes for everyone watching the live chat as well. So love at first Laserdisc, Vital VHS. Hit us up in the chat and let us know how Ferris Bueller came into your lives. So, for whoever wants to start, or whoever remembers their first time, Caitlin, Melanie, when was the first time you got Buellered?
Oh, stop making it. Stop.
What?
He does this every show. He makes it a verb. It's so gross.
I just do it to annoy you. It's like the
Gross.
airborne things. They'll never stop.
Oh, gross.
I don't remember the first time I ever watched the movie all the way through, but I do remember the first time I saw any part of the movie. I have to sneeze.
Oh.
God bless you.
That's done. Thank you.
Bless.
I'm an expert silent sneezer.
Yeah, that was pro.
Thank you. Yeah, loud sneezes drive me absolutely fucking insane. Anyway, moving on. So I remember the first time I saw Ferris Bueller at all was I had actually just met my dad's new girlfriend, who's now his wife. They've been married for a long time now. But she was watching we went over to her house and she was watching Ferris Bueller, and I specifically remember it was like the parade scene. And I was just like, oh, this is an interesting movie. And and then I don't know, some years later I eventually saw it all the way through, and now I've seen it many, many times. Like I told you, I didn't even have to rewatch it for this show because I've seen it so many times.
Yeah, this is definitely one that falls into that category for me as well. And folks, for those of you at home wondering why Ian may be a little bit in and out of the screen today, he is the proud daddy of a new puppy. So I'm hoping to pressure him into giving us some puppy cameos. I got to FaceTime with the puppy. Here it comes. Yes.
Oh,
look at this mush, right?
That's a baby.
Who needs to talk about Ferris Bueller
That's
when
My baby Aurora.
this little chunk is going to steal the show?
It's very cute.
Yeah, super cute.
She's very wild, so.
Well, that's puppies for you.
So I do apologize. I will be coming probably in and out, so I apologize, you all.
No worries. Puppies have to pee a lot, so we understand. We don't want you to let it have an accident and then make it feel all guilty. Shame it like I know you would. Caitlin, do you remember the first time you saw Ferris Bueller?
Absolutely not. These movies are just drilled into my subconscious, They're not one of those things where you have like the first time you watched it. It's just you've watched it so many times. It's the back of your head. You know it though so well.
I would agree. There are certain movies that definitely predate, conscious memories, and Ferris Bueller is absolutely one of them. So Ian, you're on deck while we got you on screen. Do you remember the first time you got Buellered?
I do. That's so gross. So I remember. I wish I remembered the store. It wasn't a Kmart and it wasn't a Walmart, but it was one of those.
Sam Goody.
Save some. I don't know. It was some store there, but they had a
Pick and Save.
No, I don't know I wish I remembered the store, but what I remember the most of the store is this was the first store that sold VHSs for like $6. And, growing up, like I didn't have any VHSs. Like that just wasn't a thing in our house. We always had like cable, or we had the library or whatever not. But This I was able to Aurora.
I literally thought you were gonna say like I didn't have VHSs. My family backed Beta.
That's impressive though. Okay, no pee or poop. Okay, we're good. But so I remember going in there, and this was the first time I could actually I could afford $6. Like every once in a while I had $6 in my pocket, and of course you go get a movie. And one of the first ones I got from there, or one of the first two, I remember one was the Andromeda Strain. I know that sounds weird, and that's a reach, but I got the Andromeda Strain, and the second one I got was Ferris Bueller's Day Off, because I had heard about this movie, and I was like, I'm supposed to watch this movie. All my books tell me I'm supposed to watch this, and I did. So I got Ferris Bueller on VHS, and that's the first time I watched it.
I'm thinking of like $6 VHSs, and you're making me remember. And Melanie, you're probably too young. Caitlin, you may be as well. I know we're close to the same age, but like no one my age remembers this. McDonald's did this thing in the 90s where they were selling tapes really cheap.
Yes.
You do? Okay.
That was the first time I bought Back to the Future from that. It came with a Happy Meal or something. I think it was like 1993, and it came with a Happy Meal, and you had like 5 tapes you could choose from, and I chose Back to the Future.
I got Addams Family Values.
I was gonna say I remember Addams Family was like one of the options, and I remember my folks got another copy of Back to the Future because we were like mid road trip, and they were like, "Oh, we can put this on in the car, and Chris will shut the hell up." And boy, were they right! It was fantastic. And I had probably already like literally had VCRs eat and destroy several copies of Back to the Future by that point anyway. So like, well, we're gonna need it eventually, even if we don't need it now. But yeah, I don't know why that just made that flashback. I wonder was Ferris Bueller maybe one of those titles?
VHSs.
Who doesn't need VHSs? That's nonsense.
I was taking the line from Back to the Future, you turd.
See, I only heard the second half because it was
a few more times, and maybe then you would have caught it. Joke.
What a turd, Chris.
I am. What can I say? So I guess
turds. That's what you are, Chris.
So I guess it's time for me to go to the chat before I tell everyone how I don't remember discovering this movie.
I am so sorry, you guys, if I'm annoying, like going in and out. Please, my apologies.
Can't you just hold her like a baby for the whole video?
Yeah, you hold her like a baby.
Aurora.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah, get that puppy on the screen,
Aurora,
damn it. Our audience has spoken. So I'm going to say hi to everyone in the live chat. I see Alex Bonafonte in there, Miyagi Do Forever, Sylvia Wayman, Mikey Riffraff, Angie Saunders, Brad Goldscoat, and Travis Mitchell in the chat so far. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Sean Gold, of course, razzing Ian as always. Oh, there's already some airborne stuff in there, Ian. I'm just saying.
Goldscoat is also airborne dog.
The airborne dog. Oh my god, put that puppy in on some rollerblades, and it's fantastic.
No. We know what he's gonna be for Halloween. You know that.
So most of the chat is most of the chat is just people talking about the dog now. Ian, way to go! You ruined the show.
Sorry,
the Ferris Bueller fans that come here later in life are gonna hate this puppy. No, I'm joking. No one could hate that adorable little pup. So there is at least one story in there. Mikey Riffraff, Mashup Genius says it was HBO at a friend's house for him. So that being the case, this is one of those movies that, unlike Ian's family, my family had a lot of VHSs growing up, like closets and closets and closets full of VHSs. And this is like one of the top 6 tapes in rotation. It was like Ferris Bueller, Lost Boys, Back to the Future, Karate Kid, Rambo 3. It was a pretty solid pack of flicks. But this was just one that literally I feel like every single weekend would just get watched over, and like you watch it with your mom, you watch it with your dad, you watch it with your brother and sister, you watch it with your cousin, you watch it with friends. It's like a sleepover movie too. It's one of those movies that people would obnoxiously. Beetlejuice was in this category too, where like you'd watch it and then like the next day kids would be like, let's watch that movie again. You're like, holy shit, we really can't get enough of this. But I always loved it. It was just an instant classic to me. I've always felt a kinship with the John Hughes movies. I'm from like John Hughesville. My mom went to high school with John Hughes.
But
So
you know
the
what,
town
Chris? There
What's
is
that?
no Shermer, Illinois.
That's right. It's called Northbrook, Illinois. And if you know your North Shore, you'll know that Northbrook was called Shermer in like the 1800s or something.
Is that what it's from?
That's
I
what it's
always
from.
wondered that.
It was called Shermer like 100 years before. But God, I just always loved those movies. Like, to me, I don't know if anyone has ever had a run of movies as perfect as John Hughes, from like Vacation 1 through Mr. Mom, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, Weird Science, and then the stuff he produced,
I agree.
Pretty in Pink, Some Kind of Wonderful, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Home. Like, it's a fucking run. Like, this dude ran the table forever, and every movie in there is an all-time classic.
Yeah, gold.
So he's just a great writer. I mean, how can you not love these movies? To me, later in life, I would realize I would like more deeply study John Hughes and become like, a diehard Anthony Michael Hall fan as well as a result. And I was always kind of surprised that Matthew Broderick didn't like stay in the A lane for like longer after this, if that makes sense. I mean, he's always done great work, but like he sort of, he was more of an actor than a movie star. I feel like, he did a few swings, like movies like The Freshman, that like, they're good, they're fine movies. They probably did okay, but they're not like Ferris Bueller big. The next time he would do something as big as Ferris Bueller would sadly be Godzilla in 1998, and that is just a horrifying time in my life. It's the only part of 1998 I wish I could get back.
Was that the Godzilla where it was like the Twin Towers?
I think it was like Madison Square Garden or something.
Do you think he should have been part of the Brat Pack? Like, he should have done more Brat Pack movies?
I mean, he kind of, he's sort of like on that outskirts of it. He's done John Hughes movies. He did a movie with Ali Sheedy. He did War Games. He worked with Alan Ruck a couple of times. They did Biloxi Blues.
Yeah.
Like, he's
he was
really
more of a
close
Broadway. Yeah, he was more of a Broadway star before he was a film star.
Yeah,
really,
I think he's just a little too maybe like New York, and they're all Chicago and LA.
Yeah, it could have just simply been, some actors just really prefer theater. And I think he's one of those.
I could see that. But I do know that he was the very, very close runner-up for the role of Alex P. Keaton on Family Ties.
Really?
And apparently a lot of the network people were like, you're crazy. Like, it's not Michael J. Fox. It's Matthew Broderick. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? And Gary David Goldberg was like, hey, if you don't want the guy that I love, I can send this kid out with 2 jokes. He gives me 5 laughs. If you don't want this guy, then don't make the show. And he's like, because he's the guy I want. He is the show. And they're like,
There's
Jesus.
About them that's like weirdly interchangeable for some reason. In my mind, I try to think of one movie that one of them's in, and the other one, I was like, oh yeah, I just saw Secret to My Success, and I was like, wait a minute, that's not.
You're right, and that could have totally been Matthew Broderick. In fact, I think he did on Broadway How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, which I think there's a lot of obviously like homage to in The Secret of My Success.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are. I mean, they're kind of like, a little bit shorter, a little bit petite for a guy. They're both, but still like lunchbox leading men somehow. Very charismatic, can break the fourth wall and talk, to the lens. And ironically, I think Michael J. Fox was one of the strong considerations for Ferris Bueller. I think it was like Anthony Michael Hall, Michael J. Fox, and Matthew Broderick.
I've watched that.
And I think Anthony Michael Hall, I want to say, turned it down, interestingly enough.
Well, he was going to do Full Metal Jacket.
Right. And then that didn't fucking work out.
Which is weird to think about.
It's so fascinating to me, though, that somewhere in this world, Anthony Michael Hall and Robert Downey Jr. were out of their fucking minds on SNL and doing like Kubrick and John Hughes movies all at the same time. Like, that's a
right. Like, it's weird to think about. He's an SNL star, and Kubrick wanted him as Full Metal Jacket, but And it wasn't like he didn't want to do it. It took so long, and he had already had other contracts in place, and he missed Ferris Bueller because of it. He just said, "This is taking too long. I'm missing out, and I got to go do other things."
It's also so crazy too, just from the idea of like movie stars coming on to SNL. Like people go there to hope to become a movie star someday. These guys were already movie stars, and they're like, "Yeah, let's go do a season of SNL."
Well, that was the Lorne Michaels came back and he tried to like because not to get all nerdy history, but the season before was the Billy Crystal, Christopher Guest, Martin Short. Like they had only been on for like one season. And it was like a start, like he basically, the Dick Ebersol got all those stars. And then when Lorne Michaels came back, Lorne Michaels was like, well, let's try the Hollywood star thing. And then that season was like Randy Quaid. Although Joan Cusack wasn't a star, before, but she ended up being Joan Cusack. He just had like a bunch of stars in that season. And problem is they weren't SNL. Like, what characters Robert Downey Jr. have?
I just remember them playing Garfunkel and Oates, him and Anthony Michael Hall. That's the only ones that I can really still remember. Or not Garfunkel and Oates. Good Lord, Simon and Garfunkel.
Simon.
Yeah, I'm one of my favorite bands. One of my favorite bands is called Garfunkel and Oates.
I thought you were doing a skit.
Shout out to Ricky Lindhorn and Kate Micucci. So getting back to Ferris Bueller, if we can, is there a scene or a moment that sticks with you, or is like more special to you or more nostalgic for you than any others, or a line?
Do we talk about Jeffrey Jones, or do we just let it go?
We've had to talk about it before. If you guys don't know, the dude turned out to be a real fucking piece of scum.
Oh yeah, I just read that.
I know,
Mr. Rooney
makes sense.
Mr. Rooney, which is like, to me, some of the best parts of Ferris Bueller is Jeffrey Jones.
What did he do again?
He was a child pedophile.
Yeah, he went after kids.
Those are the only kind.
Yeah.
He got caught. Yeah, he got caught. So, and is on the registry in California there, Melanie.
Ooh, I'm gonna look him on.
Well, I'm sure glad that the puppy's gone and now we're talking about all this shit, because that's that's fun.
Well, I remembered he did something, but I couldn't exactly remember what. And a part of me was like, oh wait, is he a child molester, or is it something not as bad? I don't remember.
No. But it's like, but the problem is like Mr. Rooney was always the funniest part, because he's taking it so seriously. That's and honestly and truthfully, throughout the whole movie, I love that. Like, everybody's playing it seriously. Like the guy who plays Cameron.
Alan Ruck.
Alan Ruck. I love him.
But he plays Cameron so seriously that it's funny.
Because he's a miserable character, and he's so funny because he has this friend who's so popular and outgoing, and then he just happens to like be the most depressed person on earth.
Yeah, I mean, it's Simone. Hi, Simone. No.
So I think, for me, the one thing that I don't know why it's just a little bit more special to me. Like I love, first of all, I love everything with Jennifer Grey, all the subplots, all the genie stuff. I would totally have watched. I know we're ahead of time for pitching, but I would 1000% happily would have watched a number of spin-offs of Genie. Like literally the next week, it's Genie's day off. Her and Charlie Sheen go out and tear up the town, because that is my all-time favorite cameo is Charlie Sheen in this movie. I can't think of any other cameo.
Oh my god, I'd rather stick a thumb up my butt.
He stayed up all night, so he claims, to get the effect in his eyes. He could have just been, maybe it was more natural than sleep deprivation.
Yeah, okay.
But either way,
yeah, that was real hard acting right there.
I just think it's brilliant. It's the whole take. It's such a weird thing to write. And it's way ahead of its time, and I don't know. I just feel like it's it's almost kind of even atypical for John Hughes. And maybe that's why I like it so much. But I love Ferris.
I will say
Ferris.
my two favorite parts of the whole movie. The first one is Ben Stein, and who is, I don't know who it was, like whoever
Christy Swanson.
Yeah.
Christy
My
Sorry,
brother's
what's her
sister's
name?
girlfriend's best friend's sister's aunt's uncle saw Ferris pass out at 31
Oh,
Flavors
is that
last
Christy
night.
Swanson?
Yeah.
Oh snap, I didn't know that. But
Thank you, Simone.
he's calling somebody's name, and the guy just goes, "Here."
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like, but that kid,
He's so annoyed. Yeah.
he's here. And then the other part that I laugh every time is when he's doing the piano that's throwing up. Buh, 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 buh,
Yeah,
buh,
yeah, yeah. That is classic, for sure. There's a lot of these little things I could just cherry pick, but I love the snooty maitre d' at the restaurant, and he does this little thing. If you ever notice, whenever he's walking away, he turns away from someone. Like if he's going to the left, he doesn't just turn left. He turns right first and does like a 270 to turn the long way every time he leaves the room. He does this weird backwards turn, and it's just this weird snooty little touch, and I absolutely love it. And he was also he was like one of these John Hughes alum guys. You'll spot him in some kind of wonderful getting beat at a dice game by Mary Stuart Masterson. It's another fucking classic movie.
I hate that movie.
Some Kind of Wonderful.
I absolutely hate Some Kind of Wonderful.
So you want the poor girl? You want the poor girl going after the rich boy.
I want everyone in that movie to be unhappy. It's so bad. I hate that movie so much. I can't even, like, I can't stand Mary Stuart Masterson like in most things. Wow. I think she's
so
such
beautiful.
I think she's such a wet rag, and
wow,
like she just doesn't add anything to any role that she's in.
Oh, okay. Now shots are we're
Eric
gonna fight
Stoltz
now.
wasn't even good in it, and I like Eric Stoltz.
I can take the Stoltz, but don't you
Stoltz
come
almost
after
got fired from that movie too.
Melanie,
how dare you?
You've not seen Heaven Help Us.
No matter how much you talk about Heaven Help Us,
many years ago.
Wait, what?
No matter how much you talk about this movie, no extra people are going to have seen it. It's just
because
you and me on this show.
Stupid, Chris. That is why.
No, it's all just right. It's not their fault. They haven't been exposed to it.
It is their fault. That is one of the greatest. It took me like 37 years to find that movie. I don't care. That movie should have been found yesterday, and that's what it needs to be.
Well,
I know you're getting upset too.
She's like, I gotta pee on something.
She got so mad at that. I guess you did. I knew you did.
Like, oh my god, Heaven Help Us is an underrated classic of a film.
That's it. We're gonna watch that. We're gonna watch that on the couch tonight.
I don't appreciate the slander.
I gotta say, not to delve too far away from Ferris Land, but I will, and I'll bring it back, and I'll say this. Growing up in Northbrook, Illinois, this is how much that area loved these movies. The water tower in that town had Save Ferris painted on it for like 15 or 20 years or something. It might still be on there. I don't even know. But they left it on the water tower for a long time. And I remember every summer I would go to this Carnival Northbrook days, and you would see the water tower at the top of the Ferris wheel. And I was like, oh yeah, it still says Save Ferris, and I'm on the Ferris wheel. Like, when you're like 8 years old, that's a big deal.
How sad now, though, kids go there and like, who's Ferris?
They just think it's the band. They're like, that band must be from here. But, it's...
I had a whole joke I was prepping about that.
Oh, you had a cool joke about Save Ferris?
No, I was just gonna be like, is this another one of those Goonies where all of you have met somebody from Ferris Bueller's Day Off except me? What are you gonna say? Like, you're from the town where Save Ferris is on the water tower next?
Oh, I see Alan Ruck at the grocery store all the time.
Oh, you California killing me. Gosh.
He lives super close to me, and I've seen him at the grocery store like 2 times.
I've like never, that kind of shit is like never happened to me.
Can you just like
and
literally just say a line to him though next time, just see what he says?
Fuck no, absolutely not.
so
You're not gonna be one of those Californians.
Absolutely not. No.
I want,
but yeah.
I do want to shout out Edie McClurg, who plays
I
Principal
was
Rooney's
just gonna-
secretary.
I was
Mhm,
just
she
gonna
was
say
great.
she makes
Incredible.
this movie.
And
This and
I
Elvira,
think-
Mistress of Darkness, Edie McClure like makes those.
And
those
let's not
movies.
forget about a little film she was in called Airborne, folks. One of the greatest films ever made.
I thought you were gonna say
And-
Carrie.
Oh well, yeah, that's true. She
Oh,
played
she
a
Where
was in Carrie.
45-year-old high school student.
She played a
Carrie.
high school student 10 years before Ferris Bueller came out.
Yeah, that is pretty friggin' crazy. And yeah, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Gosh, it's classic. I mean, everything. You know, Edie McClurg is basically the closest I will ever see to my mom being put in a movie. Every time she's there, I'm like, oh my God, that's my mom. That is so my mom. Like, oh, would you boys like some grape Kool-Aid? Like, that is so my mom.
I love after Jeannie leaves the office and she's just like, what a little asshole.
He's such a righteous
they think
dude.
he's a righteous dude. Everything, like, to me, part of why you think Jeffrey Jones is so great as Principal Rooney is because Edie McClurg sets him up just to perfection. He gets to play off that, and it's, you know, he doesn't have to do much, you know, just that, like, oh, Ed, you sounded like Dirty Harry just now. Like, you know, it's real easy for him to try and like play it tough, but he's really smiling, and, you know, thanks, Bryce.
I will say, I do got to say this though, for Ferris Bueller. I actually, after watching this movie, I faked sick to stay home. I did some of the tricks that he gave you, and I did it with my dad. And I'm sure he's watching right now, but Dad totally bought it. He's like, you can stay home from school. But here's the problem. I learned if you say you're fine at 10 o'clock, that was the mistake because your parents took you back to school. You have to wait till after lunch to feel better. That was the key. You had to wait till after lunch.
I would physically become ill because I wanted to go home and watch VHS tapes so bad on multiple occasions. And then somehow I was miraculously cured when I got home. I always felt like I'd done something wrong.
Oh, well, all you had to do was be a girl in high school and get terrible cramps and get to go home early like once a month.
That never happened to me. My mother took me home early twice. Once was actually only once when she was in 3rd grade, and the other time was on 9/11, and I was like, nah, I'm not going home.
Oh, no.
Well, that one I could definitely understand.
It's too weird.
But we are almost at pitch time, and you know, this is a tough one to bring back. Although I will say Ian does something on this show a lot that I've grown quite fond of over the years. And that is, you know, he'll say this movie's missing a sequel that should have happened in 1988 or 1989 or 1991. And I think there are a few of those, like in the case of Ferris. And, you know, before I get into my pitches, I do want to as well reference everyone, you know, make sure everyone knows in the chat that now is time for your pitches as well. There is some love for Mayor Winningham and Mary Stuart Masterson in the chat going on, but I don't have to tell Melanie about that because she's having more of a focused Ferris Bueller conversation in the chat than we are having on the show. So I applaud you, Melanie, for always doing double duty when you come on.
I do believe they should have kept the original ending where she should have ended up with Ducky. I do agree with you on that.
I agree.
Oh, Pretty in Pink. I don't know. I mean, if she wasn't attracted to him, she wasn't attracted to him.
Well, here's the deal. It was supposed to be Robert Downey Jr. as Ducky and not John Cryer.
Well, then I would understand. Oh,
I'm telling you, Chris, put Robert Downey Jr. in a movie and it's a hit.
I think Robert Downey Jr. has just
charming.
I love John Cryer, but he plays Ducky, a version of Ducky to me that I love, but he doesn't get the girl. Like, I'm rooting for him almost more, but like, come on. He doesn't get that girl in real life.
I saw John Cryer at the farmer's market once.
Oh, you just throwing it all in our faces right now.
Well, it's not my fault.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you say a movie line to him?
No, I didn't. I literally was walking and thought, oh, hey, I don't remember. I was just like, oh, hey, there's John Cryer. Cool. And kept walking.
I was in
Yes.
LA at a breakfast joint, and I made the biggest mistake in my life. Sitting across from me, but he was studying lines, which is why I didn't do it. But the actor who was in like Ace Ventura and The Frighteners, he was like a buzz
Love
cut.
the Frighteners.
I can't think of his, but he was the sheriff in The Frighteners.
Yes. He's been in so many things. Hang on. He was also the principal in Twin Peaks.
Yes. He was eating breakfast, and I was like, I need to go say hi to him. But I did the whole like LA, oh, you don't do that when you're in LA because
Troy Evans.
Yes.
Troy Evans.
It's like, oh, I'm in LA and I shouldn't do that because we're
You
LA.
mean the one
and
from
we
like
live our
Halloween
lives.
4 or Halloween 5 and shit?
Yes.
Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
I love that guy. He's got one of those voices.
He's got that voice, and I didn't say hi to him. And like to this day, I want to go back and tell that Ian. Like I want to time travel and like go to that table and be like, you get your ass up there and you go talk to him right now because he will love every second of you praising him.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake on your
So
part.
when you're in LA,
no wonder that's
you
that's
do
why
that,
you wound up on
Melanie.
this show with me. Because
I
you
love
didn't
hits
make
doing
forge
I
that
just
path.
I leave people alone because I
Yes,
figure
me
most of the
too.
time they just want to be out doing, they don't want to keep
Our
getting
life.
it's kind of
Then-
like, do
Then
you
go work
enjoy
at Service King? I
Do you
want
en-
you're in
do you
LA.
enjoy-
You're a star. You get my autograph with me.
it's
and
like,
my
do you
picture.
enjoy having to stop and like talk to someone that you went to high school with? Like you're about as invested in that person as that celebrity is in you. So
Melanie, you just
it's
said the
like,
I'm
funniest
sure the
damn
celebrity is
thing.
less invested, actually.
You just
Yeah,
said,
Right.
definitely. That's being generous.
I want that on a shirt and to quote Melanie. Like that's what I want. I want that on a shirt right now.
I will say when Ian finds a quote that he likes, he sticks to it. Speaking of quotes, though, there is a pitch that came in advance this week. I usually don't get pitches in my email before the show, but this one comes to us courtesy of the great Alex Bonafonte. He's been pitching with us since episode 1. So let's see. His pitch is Ferris and friends are all grown up. Ferris took over the legendary Harry Carey and became the Chicago Cubs announcer. He is now a local legend, leading the crowd in song and activities throughout ordinary games, but is twice divorced. Sloane Peterson comes back into his life when she finds out she is his kid's teacher. But Ferris is only the subplot, and the film catches up with him intermittently. Meanwhile, we follow Cameron in his lonely bachelor journey as he struggles climbing the corporate ladder working for Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago. Soon, I love this. Soon, Abe Froman dies, and the company merges with the one Jeannie Bueller works for. Oh, I'm loving this too. They begin relating with one another through mutual struggles and begin to bond as they each act as a voice of reason for their merging companies. The deal is done. The new company gets a suite for Cub games, and Ferris leads his big ritualized song and dance number at the stadium. World Series, 7th inning stretch, blah, blah, blah. Cameron and Jeannie, pork. Ferris and Sloane, pork. Again, they all live happily ever after. Pork. This email was sent. Okay. So, well, hey. Or maybe this is one. Okay, I don't think this is from Alex Bonafonte. I think this is one someone sent to Alex Bonafonte. And he sent it to. I don't know how this works, but
this is worse as getting Ferris. Like this is
everyone porks. So
no, here's okay. With
I don't think I've
regards
ever porked in my life, Chris.
You're from Iowa. You
Sorry
porked.
for you.
Okay, well, so with regards to Jeannie, I think you really need to have another Charlie Sheen cameo, and I can see her as being a lawyer.
Oh,
and
Ooh, I like that.
she's like at the courthouse, and Charlie Sheen is there, like waiting to be assigned a public defender or something.
who doesn't need to be
Delicious.
crazy, Charlie Sheen? He pretty much is that guy now.
He can just be Charlie Sheen.
He can just be Charlie
himself.
Sheen.
I think it would be funnier if he was like a lawyer and she was like getting arraigned for something.
Ooh, that's cute too.
Oh yeah, like their paths went the exact opposite way you would have expected.
He's like, I gave you advice. Why didn't you listen to me?
Kind of wanted to be.
And that'd be funny. They had a little fling back in the day, and he was like the bad influence on her, and then like somehow she inspired him to get clean, and she like kind of had a messed up journey, and that would be interesting. And I'd love Jennifer Grey. I'd watch her do anything.
Here's the thing. I kind of want Jennifer Grey to be the principal. Like she spent all of her years so pissed at her brother that she became a teacher just so she could become an administrator, just so she could bust Ferris's.
I don't know. That undermines her arc in the first film.
Yeah, because at the end, she's like an ally.
Yeah, she saves him, and you feel like
he screwed her over again, though. You know he did. Come on.
Hey,
now.
she got a car. He got a computer.
I asked for a car. I got a computer.
It's not like she's completely hated by her parents. You know, her mom was just having a terrible day at work, and then Jeannie's driving like a goddamn maniac on the way home. There's papers flying all over the place. She was about to close the deal with the Vermont people. That's as angry as you ever see Mrs. Bueller get. Yeah. Oh, Sig Sputnik. And again, just for cameos, I love the girl on the bus who offers Rooney some gummy bears. Yeah, they're in my pocket. They're a little warm. That is such a real kid. That is such a real kid.
Oh, I do have to. Okay, before we ever do, we have to acknowledge Yellow though, and the soundtrack. Like this movie made Yellow. That "Oh Yeah" song. Like, oh yeah. Like best ending. I will say that is a great ending to a movie. When Rooney gets on the bus and it's Yellow, that song from Yellow. It's a great ending.
It's a fantastic needle drop. Like in the decade of needle drops, it's one of the great ones.
Yeah.
And now, who did it first, Ian? Was it Ferris Bueller or Secret of My Success? I think it was Bueller, right?
We've had this conversation, and it was Secret to My Success did it first, but Bueller is the one that made it popular.
I don't know. I thought Bueller was 86 and Success was 87. I could be wrong.
They were both 87. But it's Secret of My Success came out in the summer. Bueller came out, I think, later.
Okay, I trust you.
I could be wrong. Our audience will catch me on that, but I believe Secret of My Success had it first. But
Secret of My Success, an underrated gem, one I would love to do on VCR someday. So let's see. Are there pitches in the chat here today? There are. And who would they come from but Gold's Coat himself? So Gold's Coat has a pitch.
Hold on, I'm taking care of the puppy. Hold on.
Yeah, it's probably a good time for you to do that. Gold's Coat's pitch. Ferris takes another day off, this time as an adult to escape corporate life. He needs to make it back home and runs into a downhill skate race, leaving him no choice but to join. Bueller born. Oof, I like that. I'm just saying. We have a long running streak of airborne pitches, and I hope it never ends on this show. Are we getting a 2-for-1 special here from Gold's Coat? I think we are, because he's got another one, folks. Pitch. Mitchell takes a day off to skate and runs into Ferris, also taking a day off. The combined forces for the greatest day off ever. Skating, preps, babes, Snake, Cameron. It's Bueller born. He just hit you with the same thing again with a different pitch, though. Whoa. I got to give credit where credit's due. I was reading it and I didn't even see it coming. Yeah.
I got to give credit where credit's due. Gold's Coat, he hangs on to crappy movies and he will not let crappy movies die. And look, Goonies don't die, and apparently crappy 90s movies don't die either.
They're only the greatest things. Cobra Kai as well doesn't die.
Oh my gosh.
Goddamn. So they're okay.
But here's where would Ferris be today? Okay, do you do let's get this. We can't do the 88 version or the 89 version of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But
you mean 86?
Was it 86?
Mm-hmm.
The original. So Ferris Bueller was first. He was before Secret of My Success.
I guess it wasn't. Then they ripped it off. Yeah, you're right. Well, we were wrong then. But so basically, is it Ferris's retired day off, like or work day off, like what like that's kind of what you'd have to do because I refuse to do anything without Matthew Broderick. Like nothing. It doesn't happen without Matthew Broderick.
I have my pitch. All right.
Oh, please, yes.
So Ferris has a son just like him, just a wise, alecky, smart, like very clever, social Weisenheimer, and he is doing a day off. And Ferris Bueller sees that he's doing a day off, but his mother is like not catching it. And so Ferris Bueller's son, why not name him Cameron? Right? That'd be fun.
Yes.
I like that.
Thinks that his parents have like left, but Ferris Bueller's in the car with his wife, and he's like, you know what? I think I'm getting what my son has. I think I'll go home. But by the time he goes home, his son is gone. So the whole movie is like Ferris Bueller trying to track down his son, but not in like a bad way, in like a fun way, you know what I'm saying? And like maybe they almost catch each other a few times. I don't know.
I like that.
A chat. It's getting even with Dad meets Ferris Bueller. I like this.
With a little touch of Catch Me If You Can, maybe.
A little bit, yeah. That's actually kind of fun. I like that.
I think that would be a fun adventure to go on. So I like to oftentimes, like you were about to say, Ian, before, roll the clock forward in time and where are these characters now? And like I was thinking about this today, like would Sloane and Ferris still be married? And the romantic in me really wants to say yes, because it's written by John Hughes, a guy who married his high school sweetheart. So I can't imagine he's thinking like, yeah, they're gonna get married, but they're definitely gonna get divorced before they turn 30.
Oh,
like,
they're totally gonna get divorced. I agree. Who was it, Melanie? Did you say
No
it like
way.
it was like two couples later, or was that who said
I
that?
didn't say it.
I didn't say
that
that.
Was that Alex Bonafante? Was that his
Chat,
pitch?
maybe? I don't know. But
Well,
Ghost Coast
basically,
says,
Ferris would be. He would have like 3 divorces. I mean, like
I think so too.
I can see him.
oh yeah, that was the pitch that Alex Bonafante.
That's
sent in,
okay. Yeah, so he would have multiple divorces. So I do think Sloane
like a sophomore or a junior or something like that.
Yeah, but
Sloane was a year younger than him, so not like the craziest thing in the world. Now here's the thing. Honestly, I think if you play it through, and again, you missed like a Ferris Bueller college movie. I think could have been a lot of fun.
That would have been
back in the day.
That was the '89 sequel that we did.
That's the '89 sequel for sure. Great. It's him, and like his life in college is so crazy it makes his high school days look tame. And like Sloane's
that would have made How
I
Got Into College watchable.
Oh gosh, yeah. That fucking movie. God, that always reminds me of Slacker. I like lump those in those weird 89 movie categories. But I think just imagining Ferris going through college, because I think he's going to go to college and he's going to figure out a way to graduate without ever going to class. But I think that is when him and Sloane are their most vulnerable, right? If they're going to break up, it's going to be then. It's not going to be they get married and 10 years later they get divorced. I think like if they stayed together through college or managed to survive that, or broke up and got back together after college, like then they could have stayed together. And so I like to think that that's what happened. Oh, puppy cameo. That's adorable. Little ball of mush. So I think they're still together. And honestly, I hate to say it, but like I don't really know where you jump from there. If generally you put a movie character in a place where like everything in life is great, there's like, all right, well, there's no stakes or drama to like anything that's going to happen now. So but at the same time, what are the stakes of the first movie? Maybe he'll have to repeat his senior year. He'll become a super senior. I guess that would be pretty fucking terrible. Yeah, that would be terrible.
There's an interesting thing that just came to my mind of like, that Ferris would be a voice of like, I don't know why, but like Ferris Bueller quits his job. Like, in an era of like silent quitting right now that we're going through, and just everybody's
what
just
if he was like he led a strike, like a union strike or something like that? That's why he's having a day off.
Is it Ferris Bueller strikes against SAG?
Yeah. Oh man. Strike for his corporation, and leads everyone out the door, and then they all go to the Chicago Cubs game. How about that?
Oh, I know everybody hates this, but like there's a video out there that was gonna be, here's another my sequels that were supposed to be in like 91. There was a YouTube video that should have been in like 2021, and it was like how Ferris survives the pandemic. Where Ferris Bueller was just how he survives a whole day and goes to the grocery store wearing a mask and all this stuff. And it was kind of like it could have been paid for by the the National Endowment for safety and whatever. But I don't know. There's just something that would have been really funny of like, how does Ferris survive the pandemic?
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of the pandemic, I was gonna say, Ferris is working from home now, and he just can't resist the temptation to take a day off.
Ferris Bueller breaks quarantine.
Well, no, I mean, he's not quarantined anymore, but for instance, like people like me, I still work from home. I will probably always work from home. So, I also have the ability to just answer emails and Slack messages from wherever I am. So from what I say is, I can work from anywhere that has Wi-Fi.
All right, when you see Alan Ruck again getting, Mandarin oranges, I need you to ask him what would he do?
Oh, okay. So that's an interesting thought. Is maybe it's again,
Alan Ruck
maybe
at the grocery store.
No, Cameron's day off finally.
Oh,
I would watch that.
It's a little bit later in life, and he's a different place, and now he can like cut loose. And
didn't they
for whatever reason, that
was there a Super Bowl commercial that was a Ferris?
Yes, with Matthew Broderick.
Oh, yeah.
There was.
It was a Honda commercial.
That's what it was. That's okay. I remember there was something.
What if he like escapes?
I'm sorry, Chris. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize.
No, not at all. What were you gonna say, Caitlin?
What if he escapes prison? I was talking about the
Ferris Bueller goes to jail.
Yes.
Like
Ferris
if
Bueller's
we
face
entered Ernest
it's an
territory here.
accident, and he goes to jail, and then he has to escape jail to like, I don't know, sell some stock so his whole family doesn't go bankrupt. So the whole Ferris Bueller's Day Off is him like escaping prison to go find like his wife to sell the stock and then come back and just avoiding prison guards and things like that. That would be funny.
I love that. And I love the idea that this could be earnest and that you could just have like Ferris Goes to Hell. Like seriously, it worked for Bill and Ted. Like imagine Ferris takes a day off and like no one knows about it. He's gonna like get fired or lose like his pension or something. And like something happens and he goes into a coma. He gets like hit by a car or something. I know this is dark, but like bear with me. He's got to go on.
Did you just go like Hard to Kill with Ferris Bueller?
Oh my god, I would be so down. Just him and Kelly LeBrock, fantastic. William Sadler. William Sadler would make a great Ferris Bueller villain. I'm just saying.
He would be a great if you replace the Rooney, like you get a new.
Oh yeah, William Sadler would have been great as the dean in college. The dickhead dean that hates Ferris.
Yeah.
But this is my train of thought there. I mean,
we could have had that. We could have had the college Ferris Bueller movie. What did we get? We got Teen Wolf TOO.
Oh, don't you besmirch.
Oh, I'm not. Listen,
Teen Wolf TOO.
Hey, I was there. All right, I had the VHS. Back off. I'm Jason Bateman, #whatever. Like I'm there, but But seriously though, like we didn't get a Ferris Bueller college movie. That is the crime of this world.
I would definitely agree. I'm really stuck on this. Like Ferris is earnest now.
No, and get unstuck.
Yeah, Melanie hates that shit. Like, all right. Melanie,
Ferris Bueller goes to space.
What's your remedy for these terrible bitches, Melanie?
I mean, I don't have like one cohesive plot. I'm thinking, Cameron is still trying to get past being disinherited after he ruined his dad's Ferrari.
You're right.
And you have to have Jennifer Grey and Charlie Sheen reunite in a bathroom stall or something. And Ferris Bueller is, he could be thrice divorced and have a kid, or he could just be a bachelor because he could never fall in love with anyone other than Sloane, and then Sloane somehow comes back into his life. I don't know.
Oh, what if, and this is like, again, I'm jumping the shark here, so I apologize, but
what if he was in Jaws?
No. What if Ferris Bueller took his wedding day off? Like he's gotta like eventually get, through this adventure to get to the altar to get married. But he has to like do something that's important to him. He has to recreate this kind of day he had with his friends in Chicago when he was young. and he really like he's got this maybe cold feet about getting married or something. I don't know. I guess that's pretty dumb.
It's not dumb, and here's why.
Dumb.
It's not dumb because at the very end, or somewhere in the middle of that movie, he runs into Parker Lewis. And as we all know, Parker Lewis can't lose.
That's true. He just can't.
You guys don't know Parker Lewis, do you?
No,
I do.
No, we do.
We also know comedy.
I love
Ian.
Melanie's reactions on this show.
I've been editing highlights of this show, and there are so many Melanie eye rolls that make me smile on replay.
Hey, Parker Lewis was cool.
I just go dead.
Look, yes, we all love Doritos, but cheesy triangles is just the same. So you can have Ferris Bueller or you can have Parker Lewis. They both taste all right. Well,
I don't even know what to say to that, but there is a pitch in the live chat, so I'll go
Melody's
there. Alex Bonafonte again, his pitch. Ferris Bueller is the inventor of time travel and gets stuck in post-apocalyptic Florida. Jean-Claude Van Damme must rescue him while Mia Sara can't occupy the same space at the same time in Ferris Bueller in the Time Cop multiverse. Now, I just happen to love Time Cop, so I see what you did there, Alex Bonafonte.
Alex Bonafonte just announced
I'm powerless to critique that.
That was an AI create. That was like Chat GPT plot that just got created there.
Hey, worse things have happened without the assistance of AI. Also, a pitch in the chat from Travis Mitchell. It says, mine would be Ferris Bueller's Last Day. Principal Rooney is the villain who, despite Ferris dying, now seeks to prove his ghost is causing trouble and harasses his family like a maniac to prove it. Wow, that is fucking dark as hell, and I love it. Ferris literally drove Principal Rooney to the brink of madness. You know what? I don't want them to make it with Jeffrey Jones, but if you recast that with someone I watch, you know, I could see myself enjoying that. Give me Christoph Waltz as Principal Rooney, and we're set.
I was gonna say Michael Fassbender. I don't know why, but it's just so weird enough. That I would buy Fassbender with like a mustache, and it would work.
That dude's just a fucking ace actor, so anything he does is gonna be great. I'm down. He could be a young Rooney.
Ferris Bueller Saves the Day Again, directed by Steve McQueen, starring Michael Fassbender.
Gold's Code requesting that William Sadler be in the movie, but as Death and not as anything else. So, hey, you know, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
I would watch any movie with William Sadler's death. That was the only reason I watched Bill and Ted Face the Music, was so I could see William Sadler's death again.
Well, the man's a great actor, and he can do just about anything he wants.
Oh my god, his ass in Die Hard 2. My god.
I knew it was coming.
I was like, I'm watching Die Hard 2, and I'm just like,
kidding me? Cracking walnuts on those cheeks.
I'm like, William Sadler, stop.
Oh my lord, there is, I think, a bevy of, there is the most detailed pitch I've ever seen in the chat right now. I don't think I have time to read this because there's only 10 minutes left of the show. Oh, it's actually from Chat GPT, they're telling me. So that is something for you guys to enjoy on replay. There are pitches that actually are from human beings as well. And I lost them. Okay, here we are. Interesting one. I like this. Travis Mitchell says William Sadler could be Cameron's dad, who meets Ferris and ends up respecting him more than Cameron and gives him the car. That would be fucking crazy. Cameron's dad dies, and it's like a big chill kind of reunion. Ferris comes back to be there for Cameron, and he gives Ferris the car in the will.
That's a good reason for them to take a day off again. What if it is Ferris coming to give Cameron another day off? Because if you really think about it, it's not really the day for Ferris. He's doing it for Cameron.
Yeah, nothing stresses you out like your dad's funeral.
I mean, it is a little sad, but I could see them going around Chicago again. Like
that sounds fun. I would watch that.
As like older, you know, it's like okay, you know, it is a Big Chill meets Ferris Bueller.
It'd also be interesting to see if what Ferris said about Cameron came true. he goes, she's gonna marry the first girl that he lays, and she's not gonna respect him because you can't respect something that kisses your ass or whatever, something to that effect.
She'll divorce me. She'll divorce me. It'll happen. I know it.
She'll keep calling me. She'll keep calling me. I'll go. I'll go. I'll go.
I'll go to the court. I'll go to courtyard. Court. Yes. Court. Yes.
One thing that about that scene that always stuck with me when I was a kid was the car horn when he starts his engine, or that like beeping noise inside the car. That like,
oh yeah,
I was like, what the? I was like, is he slamming the horn? When I was
no, it's
kid,
when it used to when you put your keys in. I remember cars used to do that.
Yeah, I figured that out.
Put your key in the ignition, and it was a buzzer to remind you to take your keys out so you didn't lock your keys in your car.
Genius.
Okay.
The 80s, folks. What a time.
That was the height of our technology, folks. We didn't get better than that.
I don't
Betamax went out, key noises came in. Yeah, we still had roll down windows.
Betamax went out, and so did Civilization, and everything went down when Betamax went down. We all know it. Just savages now. It's terrible crime, but what can you do? That being the case, though, I don't know, is there anything else we need to throw on top of this ice cream sundae of Ferris Bueller pitch ideas? Sounds to me like everyone's pretty much full. So
the hardest part is if you do it, it's Matthew Broderick today, and you have to do something where
I will say, I would hate to recast this role, but if you absolutely had to, I would want you to go in a completely different direction with it. And what would, like, because we do this a lot on VCR.
Tom Holland.
No.
I could buy Tom Holland as Ferris.
No, I'm not going younger. I'm going older.
Oh, good Lord. What?
I'm going Nick Cage as Ferris Bueller. Like, what kind of version is that? Like, everyone's just shaking their heads.
I'm going on this one, and I don't say that often, but yeah.
I'm going to do what you always hate then. Robert Downey Jr. I want to see Robert Downey Jr. as Ferris Bueller.
I do love
or
Robert
as Parker
Downey
Lewis.
Jr.
That is a ask. Let's get a petition. Let's get a fan letter to Robert Downey Jr. Let's everyone start hashtagging Robert Downey Jr. is Parker Lewis. And let's see if we can reach the man.
Hey, that movie can't lose.
Well, tell
Melanie,
that to the Fox executives from the early 90s, damn it.
That principal was cool though in Parker Lewis.
Well, the other thing, do we mention the Ferris Bueller TV show? I think we at least have to give a nod to the fact that it exists, and Jennifer Aniston played Jeannie. I don't remember hardly anything else about this show,
though. Who was Ferris Bueller in that?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Hang on.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll look it up.
It was like Ryan. It's like Ryan Reynolds or something.
No, he was too young. Oh no, it was hang on. Charles Schlatter.
That sounds kind of familiar. I feel like he was maybe in a Corey's movie, like License to Drive or something, but I don't want to go too deep down that rabbit hole. Because I know Melanie's a big fan of Corey Feldman.
I'm a fan of 80s Corey Feldman.
Well put.
Current Corey Feldman is very off-putting.
That doesn't have good choreography.
That is a more than fair point.
He was not in License to Drive. He was in Police Academy Mission to Moscow.
Far out.
Calm yourself, Ian.
All right. Nothing's wrong with Mission to Moscow.
Nothing
7.
in the world this man loves more than a late in the game Police Academy sequel or like a fucking Porky's film. I swear to Christ.
I love Porky's.
We already did. Well, we're going to do Porky's at some point. Please come on, because we can debate. I love the cover. I love the VHS artwork for Porky's, and that's about it.
Really?
I really do. I'm sorry. It never really connected with me.
I've never been super into Porky's either.
What's wrong with this world? These people hate Porky's and they hate Parker Lewis.
Weird.
I'm out of this.
Weird.
I love Parker Lewis.
I don't hate Parker Lewis. I don't hate Parker Lewis.
Nobody hates Parker
I
Lewis.
just didn't like your idea.
I hate dog farts. Good lord. Oh my god.
Oh, dog farts. Well, shit.
Oh.
What can you do?
I hate
Woo!
dog farts, and I hate Some Kind of Wonderful.
Oh
Well,
my gosh.
Since we're all over the off-topic points,
Melanie
I want
is
Richard Lewis can't
firing.
lose.
She's the Hunt for Red October out here. Get Alec
It's
Baldwin
just
to find
sniping.
her.
Sniping everything down. So that being said, before we wrap things up, do you guys have anything coming up in the works we're gonna let the people know about? Caitlin, Melanie, Ian, articles, DVDs, documentaries, scripts.
I'm pretty sure a new episode of the Spooky Picture Show is gonna go up tomorrow.
Yay.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's happening. That's really about it for now, I think.
Oh, radical. We definitely look forward to that. Caitlin, anything going on in your corner of the world?
I'm writing a script called This Is the End Time, so I'm really looking forward to finishing that.
Oh
I
my.
like that name. That sounds fun.
Yeah,
I definitely got to send that.
Title I ever wrote.
Definitely got to send that my way because you gave me the best script notes ever. Ian, anything going on in your corner of the world?
Summertime.
Just puppy life.
Just puppy life. Being a puppy daddy.
I'm eternally jealous. Thank you so much for gracing us with the presence of the Aurora. Also, you Fandom fans might want to come back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. when we throw a Lance party for our Alien vs. Predator episode. As always, if you enjoyed this video, the best way to help is to smash that like button and leave a comment telling us what movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover on a future episode of VCR Redux. And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Fandom Spotlight, the Hollow Knight Network, Spooky Picture Show, and Pop Culture Punk. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.